Oh my goodness. Hi everyone, it's Lennon. I have literally wasted my whole day. And I ain't even mad. um, this is kind of like a VR to James Feeney over at Linda Scott Logic. I realize that every time I say VR to James Feeney, it's because I call him James Feeney. I don't ever refer to him like with his channel name. So it's kind of like a VR. I was really inspired by a video he did that I think it was called Poetry and Tarot, where he was reading a lot of like really fantastic poetry and linking it to tarot cards, right? So I had got into the notion that I wanted to participate. I was like, oh, James, you are right up my alley with this. Because both of us are poetry lovers. And so I had gotten into the mind to do it, and I got out my deck and I got out some, not necessarily my favorites, but some poetry that I felt would bring forth the tarot imagery in some of its, in some of the poems and some of the prose. And so I plucked some off my bookshelf that I thought would work. And I'm going to share those with you, but then I got sidetracked. Literally got sidetracked. The whole day has been spent doing this. I literally woke up this morning and I did my normal like morning rituals. And then it's spring here, so like full on spring here. So I came outside because I have been really liking to come out and sit with the sun and stuff. My bamboo garden is literally at its peak right now. So I literally just go out there and sit and let the wind take me places. So I laid on the ground and I was like just looking up. I just stared up at the sky, the dappled morning sunlight, and the wisps of the bamboo, and it just did something to my soul. And because it did something to my soul, I guess it made me realize that today was the day that I was just going to be I was going to go on a poetic venture. And I did. I got out. That's when I decided, I was like, I want to do a VR to James. I've been wanting to do this. The sunlight's doing something to my soul. It's awakening it. So I wanted to get all of my poetry books out. Well, some of them. Okay, not all of them. Definitely not all of them. We'd be here all day. I think James did it much more organically than I did, but I really wanted to come at it because I have so many I had so many poets to choose from. I was like, how would I ever narrow this down? And I could have chose Baudelaire, but because he's really one of my favorite poets of all time. But James did such a good job with Baudelaire that I was like, you can have him. I got Sylvia Plath. I got Nikita Gill, which all of hers are fantastic. Every single poem, every single one she writes is fantastic. And Alpha, which I love this particular edition of I Find You in the Dark poems, because there's those datura flowers on them, and it's like a dark cover, and it reminds me of the cover, the very specific book I have of Fleur de Mal, Baudelaire. So both editions, like sitting on a coffee table, look like they're twins. So fucking love it. I realized that I had a lot to say about some of the poems in here. It sent me on quest. I tend to say that a lot because when I get into these modes of poetic explorations, I tend to mostly allow the poems to take me places, take me somewhere other than I am. And it's not so much outside of myself like an astral travel, okay? It's mostly an exploration within and without and everything. Take me to the cosmos, okay? I'm riding the backs of dragons on this stuff. And anyway, it led me down thinking about soulmates, twin flames for some reason, body image, love, and things like that. Really spoke to, I think my exploration today led me more into individuation, literally self-love. And I was like, why is it doing this to me? And then I realized the tarot is that. The tarot is literally the journey of exploration, individuation. And so anyways, it led me down all this, and I wanted to share some of my findings with you guys along with some of the poems. Not necessarily a VR, but it's inspired by James's video, so that's really what I really wanted to say. Now, this particular poem is called Metamorphosis of the Moon. And I've got my beautiful Centennial. While I read Metamorphosis of the Moon, I'm going to show you the moon card. Okay. And I want to see, because I kind of skimmed this poem before I realized, like, just to see. And I wanted to plug the moon in it, pre-read, and then see if another card jumps out of me post-read. Or during, whichever. Cold moons withdraw, refusing to come to terms with the pilot who dares all heaven's harms, to raid the zone where fate begins, flings silver gauntlet of his plane at space. Demanding satisfaction, no duel takes place. The mute air merely thins and thins. Sky won't be drawn closer, absolute. It holds aloof, a shrouded parachute. Always the same distance from the falling man, who never will abstain from asking, but inventive. Ooh, see? But inventive hopes in vain challenges the silent dome. No violation, but gives dividends of slow disaster. The bitter apple ends, the Eden of bucolic Eve. And actually, when I think of Eve, the slow disaster, the bitter apple ends, the Eden of bucolic Eve. Understanding breaks through the skull's shell, and like a cuckoo in the nest, makes hell for naive larks who starve and grieve. What prince has ever seized the shining grail, but that it turned into a milking pail? It's likely that each secret sought will prove to be some common parlor fake. A craft with paint and powder that can make Cleopatra from a slut. From most exquisite truths are artifice framed in disciplines of fire and ice, which conceal incongruous elements like dirty socks and scraps of day-old bread and egg-stained plates. Perhaps such sophistry can placate us. I love this poem because Sylvia Plath is using, in my opinion, okay, in my humble opinion, she's using the symbolism of the moon, the metamorphosis it goes through on a 28-day cycle to herself. This notion that with all the cycles that I endure, all the coldness that I endure, can the everyday, the last line, can day-old bread and egg-stained plates placate me? Do I allow it to sit on my mind? Or do I just continue to go through the motions? Like the Wheel of Fortune, even though, because it's the last card I would talk about for this particular poem, it's not going to be anywhere in this deck. Is the last card. Something about going through cycles. It's literally the metamorphosis of the moon. Which is really, we could say it's the moon card, but it's really the wheel card. It's about going through cycles and the everyday mundane things and how special that can be, but also how ruinous it makes us feel sometimes to be in those ruts. So, Sylvia Plath, send me home, baby. Then we get to the last two poets, Alpha. Now here's where I started to go down this very dark, dramatic hole of self-love, self-image, finding your soulmate, okay? After being married for almost 15 years, and I'm like a little over 30, so that's almost half my life I've been married. I still don't believe him to be like a soulmate. Like somehow I have to have him to be whole. That's not true. Okay? If I had never met him, I'd still be Lennon. I'd still be me. I'd still act the damn same. I'd still be raw. I'd still be boisterous. I'd still want to be a fairy, you know? And it's not like I would go living half a life without him. I'm rambling here. But I wanted to share this poem that I was just skimming this damn thing looking for tarot related shit, right? And it did make me think of a tarot card, but only one. And I want you to think of the tarot like I explained it earlier. Self-actualization, individuation, okay? This is for me, myself, I. This is for you, okay? Even if you read for others and you somehow have your own, like, say you know that person, right? You're going to put your own kind of judgments and biases on there. But realistically, the tarot, even if you read it for someone else, it's for them, right? You're not reading it for you. You've completely taken yourself out. Therefore, that reading is for that one person. So it's still about self. I think there's still a big emphasis on self there. I should have done what James did and separated the deck to be just the majors, just the major arcana, because siphoning through all 78 cards every single time I want to pull one out is time consuming. So there's probably going to be a lot of cuts in this video. Alright, what's the poem? You have to cut grass right now? Anyway, I'll hurry, okay? I want to know why you think you aren't whole. Who told you this? Who told you that your soul is split down the middle? A wide expanse of barren nothingness, half full unless another being replenishes it. Who told you that you are only complete if someone comes along and stays and takes up residence next door to your self-worth? Holy shit. Who told you that you only contain half the amount of love that you'll need to make your way through life? Why do you think that half of you resides and belongs within someone else? You are perfectly complete in your singleness. Just you. You are whole. Mic drop. Those are my exact feelings towards twin flames and soulmates and shit like that. I don't know much about twin flames actually, but I know a shit ton about soulmates, okay? I mean the concept, the notion of soulmates, okay? Salud. And so that got me thinking about my marriage, my relationship, okay, with my husband. And then it got me thinking of people that aren't married. And then that I know. And then it got me thinking of people that don't ever want to be married. And I'm not saying that marriage is the goal for relationships, okay? You don't have to be married to be in a relationship with someone. I had a beloved aunt who is like lived with my uncle for their whole life, and they weren't married. Like, perfectly happy not having that damn piece of paper. Okay, so I'm an advocate for all of it, but I don't like the fact that people think this way. It's more so that whatever's going to make you happy and make you feel whole, and you need to know that you're whole. You don't have to have that other person. And I've seen a lot of toxic shit. People being victims in toxic relationships because they think this way. They think somehow that they have to have this other person to be whole because that's their soulmate. No, you're still who you are, okay? So it's almost like the problem I have with the notion of soulmate or twin flame is that you don't need the twin to be you, right? I don't mean to get I don't mean to get macabre on you guys, but I think in terms of relationships, that's where the problem for me lies, because it's like, you need to know that you are You are perfect. Then I wanted to read this poem that is by Nikita Gill, and it's called Temple, right? I am an advocate for calling your body a temple, and it might be because of my spiritual brain, my witch brain, I don't know which brain it is in my brain, but I'm a firm believer that my body is everything that is me. So it's my outer shell, it's my inner shit, it's all my organs, it's every thought that I've ever had and will ever have. It's what's in my heart, all my heartbreaks, all my trauma, all the love that I've given people and that I've received. It's everything. Every single thing is what the term body means for me. So, but I'm an advocate for that whole thing being a temple. And so I guess one step further from that, screw soulmate, know your worth. Know that in your body, you are everything. You are this. Okay, embrace this powerful shit right here. Realize instead what the term temple means. And that's what got me really emotional earlier today, a little earlier today, because like I said, this is like an all-day endeavor for me for some reason. Her body is not your home. It is a temple. And you are a pilgrim. It is kindly giving shelter to. And pilgrims know better than to destroy the holy thing that is providing them with shelter. Let's pause for a minute because I saw another tarot card in this. One of a temple, one of desolation, right? 3 years later, I bet you can think of which card I'm talking about. And then turn that card around and think about self-worth for a second. If this card was about self-worth, and it was about the term body, and it was about the term temple, and it was about people have been pilgrims. People need to be pilgrims to the temple that is you, right? Did you guess that card? I didn't give y'all much time to guess, did I? So the 5 of Pentacles is what card came to my mind just now, really, not before when I read this. Pilgrims know better than to destroy the holy thing that is providing them with shelter away from their home. And whether or not you choose to give tickets away for free to this temple, no judgment from me, okay? The temple is just that. It's a holy place. It's a place of worship. Think about that song, Take Me to Church by Hosier. It's about worship. It is about not in a church. That the body is the church, right? And she's demanding that. She is demanding that you worship her, literally, okay? If you knew, and if you grow, and you want to know more about your self-worth and like what you are worth, then you slowly start building and believing this temple that is you, that is your body, that is your everything. And you start looking at yourself in the mirror going, I am this beautiful temple, and people come to me and they're kneeling for me. They're kneeling for my strength. They're kneeling for the heartbreak that I've endured. They're kneeling. They're praying for me. They're praying to me. They're praying about me. They're thinking about me. Worshiping me. Can't I have that? Can't I be this temple? Yes, you can. So I love this poem because it's like, her body is not your home. It is a temple. And you are a pilgrim, okay? I want you to think about a temple. And when people come, they're coming as a pilgrim. They're coming because they can't stop themselves. It's like those people that make pilgrimages. They can't stop themselves. They have to see this holy, blessed Virgin in Lourdes. They have to walk barefoot up this mountain to this statue. They have to. It's like a life plan, life's work, life's blood, you know? Demand that. So think about this card in a new light, self-worth. Anyway, I'm going to stop my rambling now. James, I want to thank you because it really set me on a quest. So I hope that you enjoyed this chat about self-worth and temples and loving yourself. And a little tarot shoved in there. Much love, people.